Hello students and welcome back once again. This is your science teacher here, and this time I am here with a new chapter of grade 8 science NCERT textbook, that is combustion and flames. And students, this one is the second part of your chapter number 6. We already completed the first part of this chapter, and students, if you remember, in the first part of this chapter we learned and discussed about combustion and the necessary conditions for a combustion to take place, and about the different kind of combustions, and we also learned and discussed about how to control fire and what are the devices that helps to control fire, means about fire extinguisher, and lastly about the different types of fire extinguisher. And students, now in this part we are going to learn about flame and its different zones, and we will also learn and discuss what are the different kind of fuels, and lastly we will also discuss about some harmful effects of burning fuel. So let's continue the chapter. Now students, as you can see here, the first topic of your this part is flame. Students, a flame is the visible gaseous part of a fire, or we can say that flame is a hot glowing body of any ignited gas which is generally produced when something is on fire. But students, some materials burn with a flame whereas some do not. Now here is a table based on this observation. As you can see here, here are three columns. In column number 1, the heading materials, under which the name of the sub materials are given here. In column number 2, forms of flame. And in column number 3, the heading doesn't form a flame, written over here. The first material is candle. Students, you all know that when candle burn, it always forms a flame. So it is written here, forms a flame. Now students, the second material is magnesium. Students, you already did an experiment in your previous class related to magnesium ribbon. And if you remember that magnesium doesn't form a flame. Next one is camphor. Students, camphor also burns with a flame. The next material is kerosene stove. Students, kerosene stove also burns with a flame. And the last one is charcoal. And students, this charcoal is also burns with a flame. Now students, let's discuss the structure of a flame. As you can see here, this one is a flame, and students, the bluish part that you basically observe here in this figure is called the outer zone of complete combustion, and students, this one is the hottest part of a flame. Now students, the yellowish middle portion that you see over here in this image is the middle zone of partial combustion. And students, this yellowish part is moderately hot. Now students, this blackish resin at the innermost point that you observe here in this figure is known as innermost zone of unburnt wax vapor. And students, it is the least hot part of a flame. And that's how the zones of a flame is divided into 3 categories: hottest part, moderately hot part, and least hot part. Students, as I said that a flame is basically divided into 3 zones: outermost, middle, and the innermost zone. And we already discussed that the outermost zone is blue in color, and it is the hottest part of the flame, and it is also the zone where the complete combustion takes place. Whereas middle zone is yellow in color, and it is moderately hot, and in this zone partial combustion take place. Whereas in the innermost zone is black in color, and it is the least hot zone, and here we can find the unburnt wax vapors of a candle. Now student, here is an important thing for all of you to keep in mind, that kerosene oil and molten wax generally vaporizes during burning, but charcoal doesn't produce flame or vaporize when it burns. Now students, here is a question that why do goldsmiths blow at the outermost zone of a flame for melting gold and silver? Students, as we already discussed that the outermost zone of a flame is the hottest zone of a flame, and gold and silver have high melting points. So that's why goldsmiths blow at the outermost zone of the flame to melt gold and silver quickly. Now students, here is a question that what is the fuel? Students, a fuel is any material that can be made to react with other substances so that it releases energy as heat energy or to be used for work like wood, kerosene, petrol, etc. Now students, as we discussed that fuel is any substance that gives us heat which we use for domestic and industrial purposes. Now here is a question that what will an ideal fuel or good fuel look like, or we can say that what are the characteristics of an ideal fuel? Students, ideally a good fuel is one which has proper ignition temperature, means neither too low nor too high. Next, an ideal fuel doesn't produce undesirable or poisonous substances that cause pollution and doesn't leave behind much ash. The next one, an ideal fuel produces a large amount of heat or have a high calorific value, and it also has a moderate rate of consumption. And student, an ideal fuel is a fuel that is easily controllable, or we can say it is easy to handle and transport it. And the last but not the least, it has low moisture content so that it burns easily. Students, all these characters make a substance a good fuel, or a substance that has all these properties. We can say it is a good fuel or ideal fuel. Now students, as you can see here the heading, fuel efficiency. Students, it means that on burning a particular fuel, how much energy it produces. And students, generally the fuel efficiency of a fuel depends on its calorific value. And students, as we already discussed that the calorific value of a fuel depends on the amount of heat produced by complete combustion of 1 kg of the fuel. And students, generally the calorific value of a given fuel is measured in kilojoule per kg. Now students, here is a table. As you can see here, this table shows you the calorific value of some common fuels that we use in our daily life. Students, if you look at the table carefully, then you will see that hydrogen seems to be the most efficient fuel after LPG. Then after LPG, CNG and methane are the most efficient fuel. Then after methane and CNG, kerosene, petrol, diesel are the most efficient fuel. Whereas cow dung cake, wood, coal seems to be the least efficient fuel here. And students, this table shows us that on 1 kg burning of these fuels gives us this much amount of energy. For example, 1 kg of hydrogen produces or gives us 1,50,000 kilojoule energy. In the same way, on burning of 1 kg of LPG gives us 55,000 kilojoule energy. Now students, let's discuss some uses of fuels. Students, some of the ways in which common fuels are used are: gasoline is used in cars, scooters and other vehicles that we use every day. Second one, natural gas that we use is used in heating system, water heaters, dryers and stove tops in our home. In the same way, oils and natural gas used by us in our everyday life for making several things. For example, in making plastics, pharmaceuticals and several other items that we use in our daily life. In the same way, Coal is also used as the primary fossil fuel in many thermal power plants in order to generate electricity. Now students, as you can see here the heading, types of fuels. Students, on the basis of the state of fuels, they are generally divided into three groups. The first one is on liquid fuels. Students, petroleum, crude oil, from where we basically get petrol or gasoline, diesel, kerosene, oil, etc., comes in this category of liquid fuels. The second one is solid fuels. Students, in this category, firewood, charcoal, coal, dung cakes, animal fat or tallow, straw and other agriculture wastes, paraffin wax and camphor included. And now on the category of gaseous fuels, mostly used gas means LPG, liquefied petroleum gas that we use as a cooking purpose at our home is included. And students, some of the other commonly used gaseous fuels are CNG, compressed natural gas, methane, that basically released on decomposing the organic matter, butane gas, it is also a natural gas. And lastly, students, in the villages, animal dung and farm waste are generally used to produce biogas, and this biogas is also collected from the sewage plant, about which you will learn in your higher classes. Now students, let's discuss some harmful effects of burning fuel. Students, the carbon fuels that we generally use in our everyday life, like wood, coal, petroleum, releases large amount of ashes as well as fine unburned carbon particles in the air that can cause many respiratory diseases like asthma. And students, these fine particles that generally released after burning these carbon fuels are also referred as suspended particulate matter or SPM. Students, incomplete combustion of these fuels means coal, gasoline and other fossil fuels releases a large amount of carbon monoxide gas that is very poisonous and can kill people sleeping in the room where coal is generally burning. Students, this carbon monoxide gas on inhaling mixes with hemoglobin in our blood and form carboxyhemoglobin, and this carboxyhemoglobin render or make blood incapable of transporting oxygen. And students, even these fuels also releases some unburned hydrocarbons that may cause cancer and other serious health hazards. Students, similarly, carbon dioxide gas also releases by burning most of the fuels during combustion. And students, the releasing of this carbon dioxide causes an imbalance in the atmosphere. In the same way, deforestation also leading to a situation where there are no fewer trees to absorb this carbon dioxide gas. And students, this condition, when this carbon dioxide gas increases in the atmosphere, is termed as global warming. Students, global warming means the rising average temperature of Earth's climate system. And due to this global warming, temperature of the Earth's atmosphere increases, which is causing the melting down of the glaciers, making the sea level rise and causing floods in coastal areas. And students, this global warming is just because due to the elevated level of carbon dioxide gas in the atmosphere, because this carbon dioxide gas absorbs infrared radiation which were emitted by the earth and then radiate it back to the atmosphere, and that's how it raises the temperature of the earth, and this is known as greenhouse effect. Students, the other harmful effect of burning of fuels is acid rain. Students, burning of coal and diesel releases sulfur dioxide gas that is very corrosive in nature, and it causes irritation in nose, throat or airways, and it also causes shortness of breath, wheezing and a feeling of tightness around the chest. And students, when these sulfur and nitrogen oxides dissolve in water, then they form acids like sulfuric acid and nitric acid, and that's how causes acid rains. Students, as I said, acid rain refers to the rain of acid that is very harmful to crops, soil, animals and buildings. Students, burning of fuels like coal, petrol releases harmful gases like sulfur oxide and nitrogen oxide. And students, when this sulfur oxide and nitrogen oxide mixes with water in the atmosphere, then it forms acid, sulfuric acid and nitric acid, and that's how they form acid rain. And when this acid rain reaches on the earth's surface, then it damages trees, causes acidification of lake or stream water, means makes the lake or stream water acidic, and also damages forest soils, and even it also destroys buildings, statues, sculptures that are part of our nation's culture heritage. Now students, at last here is a question that why do we not burn wood anymore? Students, as you all know that wood is a low cost fuel and it is easily available, but students, burning wood releases a lot of smoke which causes many respiratory problems. Moreover, cutting of trees for wood as a fuel led to deforestation, and that's how it can increases the global warming. So people nowadays prefer to use coal or LPG as fuel instead of wood. Now students, that's all about your chapter number 6. Now with this stopping here, the second part of your chapter number 6 is completed. Now I will be come back soon with a new chapter. Till then, stay home, stay safe and stay healthy.